All right, hello and welcome to the Comedy's Dead podcast, which is officially the only podcast that I have told everybody I started but haven't done for 3 years. We welcome to another episode. For the 5 people who fucking listened the first time I did it, it's very exciting stuff for me to be like, you know what? I look like a lazy piece of shit if I'm not constantly putting out content because that's how the world works. And it's not enough to just fucking be a good stand-up comedian anymore. You got to be a fucking renaissance man. All right, so I'm fucking yeah, I'm doing this shit. Yeah, so right, let's see. It's Tuesday. I have I see this thing. I don't know how to fucking go into a podcast. This is why I stopped doing this. It's just too much pressure on myself that nobody gives a shit about except me. You know? Fucking riddle me that. Because none of you were listening past like 12 minutes. I saw the analytics. It's really like 7 or 8. But the ones who last made it a full 12, okay? And I appreciate those people. Yeah, what's up? I don't know. Do I want to give you a 3-year update on my life? It's still pretty much the same. I still fucking walk dogs and I still live with my parents and I still do stand-up comedy. All right? Those are the 3 hit points, I haven't gotten anybody pregnant. That's good, I think. You know? I mean, I'm the poor one here, so they would just be an anchor baby. I mean, I'd really be the gold digger in that situation, but maybe I should get a woman pregnant, you know? You know? I don't know how to go about that, but I think it would be the best financial decision for me at this particular moment in time. Let's see. Uh, I, what am I up to right now, currently in my life? Let's see. Oh, I've had 2 really fucking big weekends, thanks to John Tobin Presents the last couple weeks. Last weekend I did Laugh Boston Friday. Um, then I immediately ran to go see Tedeschi Trucks Band, which is like my favorite current band. To catch the second set of their show over at the Wang Theater. And then Saturday night, the previous Saturday night, it's not this most recent Saturday night. That Saturday, I did the Spire Center for the Performing Arts, a little small theater / church over in Plymouth, Massachusetts, with the great Gary Veter. It was with Brent Morin on Friday. And then after the Veter show, ran back to Laugh just to hang out. That was a really fun weekend. I was dog sitting up in Charlestown, so before the Saturday show, grabbed myself a cigar so I could sit on the roof of the apartment I could never afford, and celebrate from somebody else's roof. That was an enjoyable fucking weekend, and then that Sunday I fucking so Tompkins Stanton was the Grateful Dead's keyboardist from part of 1968 into the January 1970, and so we played with them at Woodstock, played on their most psychedelic albums. He was with the band. What just fucking happened? Why is jazz playing? Who did this? I mean, don't get me wrong. What the fuck was that? Don't get me wrong. I like some New Orleans jazz, but that's not the time. What was I saying? Yeah, so he was playing with a band called Live Dead and Brothers, which is all people who either play with the Dead or the Allman Brothers. At the site of Woodstock in Bethel, so I went out to see that because they were recreating the Dead set from Woodstock, which he played on, which was really cool. And then he turns out he ended up dropping from the rest of the tour after the show, so I got to see a member of the Grateful Dead's final show ever, which is pretty cool because it's my favorite band ever. And judging by the name of the fucking podcast, you figured that one out. Yeah, dude, it's fucking good. I ended up sneaking into an abandoned insane asylum in New York State. I'm not going to tell you where it is because I don't think I'm supposed to admit to breaking and entering crimes. Broke into an abandoned asylum up in New York State. That was fun. It's fucking creepy and cool and scary at the same time. I'm still a little afraid I touched asbestos or something, even though I think I would know. I don't know how that works. But if you ever see me on a commercial for mesothelioma in the next coming months, you guys know why. And yeah, that was cool. And I ended up smoking DMT that night. I don't know if I can I mean, it's impossible to explain that experience, but yeah, I smoked DMT at 5 in the morning that night, and then that was it. Dude, I miss the fucking road. I don't mean for comedy. I just mean fucking. For the people who don't know, I used to basically live by couch surfing and crashing in vans and things like that, following the Grateful Dead. Well, John Mayer and what's left of the Grateful Dead on tour. It was, the most fun I will ever have in my life. You know, no offense to my future wife and my children, but there's nothing that's ever going to beat doing obscene amounts of LSD and seeing the Dead at the Gorge, okay? That's just nothing's going to beat that. I don't know why, people seem to expect that to, make a difference. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. It would be a happy surprise if my children brought me more joy than Bob Weir has done in his life. But you know what? I just don't see it happening, quite frankly. Well, I don't know. Sorry. Fucking answering a text. Yeah, let's see. What do I got? What else is going on in my life? I might move to San Francisco. That'd be something. I got offered a place with dude, it's $10.80 a month, which is less than I'd get to rent in Boston. It's 5-minute walk from Baker Beach, which is the beach on the water side, or on the ocean side rather than the bay side of the Golden Gate Bridge. So it's in the Presidio. $10.80 a month, rent control. The person I would be moving in with is also a dog walker, so we'd be just starting our own company. I'd be able to make a lot more money than I'm doing right now. Live in my favorite city. I mean, the only thing stopping me is, I think the comedians are a lot funnier here. But I also don't want to fucking do comedy in Boston anymore. I'm just so fucking sick of you people. I am. I don't know. It's I don't know. I feel like I could use just a fresh start where just nobody fucking knows who I am. And, I'm just being, treated based on the quality of the work I'm doing and rather than everybody else's egos, including my own. Because, we're all fucking a bunch of narcissistic, whiny bastards doing this fucking bullshit. I think it would be healthier if there was no preconceived notions for any of us. I think all of us, not just myself, every single comedian who isn't a darling in the open mic scene would be so much happier just moving literally anywhere and doing comedy. It's just no matter what, everybody's going to treat you like the social status you both had when you started, right? If someone starts after you and you were above them, you're always going to want to prove that you're above them. No matter what, we all do it. So it's not like a woe is me, I'm the victim of reality thing. I think it's just being realistic. Just I think when people are treating you based on just solely based on the work you're doing and not based on their notion of you as a person, it's just easier for you. I mean, that's just natural. So yeah, I'm a little bit torn on that thing. Oh, this weekend, dude, I fucking So as I mentioned, I had 2 good weekends in a row. Sorry, I've drank way too much fucking caffeine today, so you're just gonna get a lot of unloaded fucking thoughts. Dude, so alright, so let me preface a bunch of this shit. Okay, so when I went out Sunday for that concert, met up with my friend, they ended up leaving a vape in my car. I had spent 3 fucking weeks quitting nicotine in the build-up to that weekend. They leave it in the car. I'm fucking tired as shit driving home Sunday. What do? Hit the fucking nicotine all day, all night that same night, all day the next day. To the point where on Tuesday, I had to go to a fucking show, find one of my friends who uses nicotine, and be like, take this out of my fucking hands right now. I am going to fully be back on board. And now I'm just going through the withdrawal process again, and it fucking blows. So that was the headspace I was in going into this weekend. I was at Roar, Springfield, MGM Roar in Springfield. I was at Roar Comedy at the MGM Springfield in Springfield, Massachusetts. The glorious Springfield, Massachusetts. I mean, again, I'm appreciative of the gig. Was very happy to be there. Chris Frangiola, the headliner, did great. Danny Calais, the opener, we switched off hosting, featuring each night. Danny fucking crushed all weekend. Chris crushed all weekend. I did fine. Dude, it was brutal. And they put me up, too, so I'm like, you're giving me a fucking really nice hotel room, an MGM resort. You know how nice it was that I looked at the number on the deposit and I was like, I might have to transfer money just to make sure I have spending money for the rest of the weekend. That's how nice of the fucking hotel room it is. Granted, I know I'm poor. But that's the situation I'm in. So I just have this pressure on myself. Like, I got a crush. Got into a fight with somebody on Thursday. Don't need to get into details of that. Yeah, so I'm just like, I'm going into the weekend just like putting way too much pressure on myself. I wasn't really having any fucking fun on stage. I mean, I don't think it was as bad as I thought, because it's like I got applause breaks each night. But like, and that sounds like a humble brag, but it's just like, no, like I also fucking lost them for major portions of my set where I just get fucking nothing. Like, I did one joke, it bombs the second night. I'm setting up the next joke. Before we even get to the fucking punchline, some drunk ass heckler just goes, like right in the middle of the fucking setup. And then, like, you know, I didn't know how to handle it because I'm so fucking bad with hecklers. I am the worst fucking comedian on the goddamn planet when it comes to hecklers. Like, I just basically politely ask them to stop. And if they're like, I'm not doing that, I'm like, great, that's all I had. Like, I know that's like a major skill you're supposed to have. But I don't like insulting people, even if they're assholes. Like, I just, because it's like, maybe I've just done too many psychedelics in my life where it's just like, no, he's not an asshole. It's just, this is what his karma did to him. Just feel like if I unload on him, it's just going to make him worse. I don't know. I should have fucking figured something. The worst part is he, like, interrupted the host set, too. So, like, after, I didn't watch Danny's set. I was just getting ready for mine. And had I known that they had an interaction, like, there was a bunch of shit I could have said. But I thought this was, like, the first time he was being a cunt. And, like, I didn't really know what to do. So I was just like, because I literally just was like, can you shut the fuck up? And then the whole, the audience was on my side because they were, like, cheering me and booing him. But it was still just, like, I clearly lost whatever little momentum I had left at that portion of my set. And then I won him back over by the end. I got, like, a big, a couple big I got applause, and then, actually, I got applause on the last two bits I did, which is pretty good. Yeah, so that's how I had to fucking handle that situation. And it was just like, that was the worst thing. It was like, if I just bombed all weekend, I'd be like, well, I just suck at comedy. But when you're, like, going from, like, applause breaks to just, like, losing the room to back to applause breaks in the same fucking 20 minutes, you're just like, I clearly just did the wrong shit. Or it's just like, I have enough material that's good with this audience, which is, Chris's audience, Chris Frangiola was the headliner. He used to be the head writer of Chelsea Lately. So, like, it was just an audience of, like, 50-year-old wine moms, where they think they're edgy and raunchy, but they're not, like, they're fucking, it's like they're willing to publicly discuss sex, which is a step over most 50-year-olds from Massachusetts, but they're not willing to really go with the type of shit that I like talking about, which is, being a pedophile or something. I don't know. You guys haven't heard my act. Not all of you, at least. I'm not saying I'm actually a pedophile. If come to a show sometime. I'm at Floodwater Brewing in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts on Thursday, and Sunday I'm in Brookline. I don't think I have anything this weekend. I thought I had something Saturday, but it turns out that was last weekend. We're good. Nobody's mad at me. Anyways, yeah, dude. By the way, this podcast is a lot fucking easier to do when I'm 5 years into comedy than when I was 2 years into comedy. Jesus Christ, I could not riff to save my goddamn life when I started doing comedy. And now I'm at like fucking 15 minutes doing this podcast, and I haven't even fucking tried so far. That's pretty good. I can just talk now. I'm like, not completely trapped in my head anytime I fucking, try to speak publicly. I don't know. What am I fucking doing? What am I doing with my life? I don't know, dude. Let's see. What else did I do this week? Alright, I have a story I want to talk about, but I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. Yeah, that's like kind of a fucking tease, Josh. You don't think we're all gonna be sitting on the edges of our seats waiting for, you to work out this brilliant fucking idea you have? Well, you know what? I'm not gonna do that now. Because, I'm just gonna leave you on the edge. I think that'd be fun. Just leave you sitting and waiting, going, that could have been the greatest thing I've ever heard. Well, it's not going to. I don't know. Dude, I got a fucking, oh, yeah. Alright, so I was at we'll get there. I was at the fucking casino this weekend, right? They put me up. I'm not drinking right now. I'm not using nicotine as I tell myself. So basically, like, the only thing I did, at this casino for an entire weekend. So Friday night I got out of the show. I just walked around. I smoked a joint and then I walked around the casino and I just people watched. And all right, so actually, I bummed a cigarette from this guy named Tim. He was such a sweet guy. He comes back to the show on Saturday, being super supportive. He's going through something with his wife. He's not drinking. He's not gambling. He's not because we're in the same situation where we're just at the casino to kill time and just try to find people to talk to. It was kind of sad, dude. The road is fucking sad. This is not a good life I signed up for. I don't know why the fuck I let myself talk myself into this. But dude, so I bummed a couple cigarettes with this guy. We just talk for a fucking hour, really open up about our lives to each other. This is just like a 50-year-old guy who just fucking needs somebody to talk to. I had nothing else to fucking do, so we're talking, and then I go back into the casino, and so I smoke a J, and then now I'm just fucking blasted, watching all these people have like this empty fun at the casino, because like I went out to fucking Vegas in May, and it was the most depressed I've ever been. Like I had a good weekend on paper. Like I can technically say all the days were technically fun, but there's just an energy being around that level of empty materialism that just robs something in my soul. It just crushed me. Like if I was offered a lot of money to headline in Vegas, if I could if let's say down the road, right, if I'm making enough money in that tour where I don't have to go to Las Vegas, I will not go to Las Vegas. Like that's how off-put I was by this trip. It's just so empty. There's nothing there's no real human connection being made. It's just, look how fucking cool I am. Look how much money I have. Look how wildly I can spend. But it's just I don't know anything about you. I'm not impressed by any of this. I don't give a shit about your job. I don't give a shit about your fucking yacht or your Bugatti. I don't care. You're still a vapid, empty person. Okay? I feel more wealthy than you because I'm just satisfied with myself. Yeah, that's how I feel about fucking Vegas. So, imagine that, but in Springfield, Massachusetts. The grossest place you could even imagine. It was fucking gross, dude. I'm fucking walking around the casino, and I go over to the craps tables, and, I'm because I just like watching, the games where, people, gather around to watch people play. And and it's also NBA Hall of Fame weekend. So there's NBA Hall of Famers and their families walking around, which is kind of fucking wild. And so I go to this table, and there's this really cute girl, a couple years younger than me, because I'm 26, and she's just staring. She's staring at me, and she looks all nervous. And I was like, what? That's weird, And then I kind of I'm watching her, and just what's her deal? And she's at the corner of this table, and there's a lot of chips in front of her, and I'm like, is this chick just balling gambling? How does a cute girl like that become a fucking degenerate gambler? And then I look a little deeper, and there's a reserve sign next to her on the corner of the table, and then right next to her is just this gross ass fucking guy, probably mid 50s, early 60s, maybe early 50s, just gross ass guy, just neck beard, stubble. When you have someone has a triple chin where it just kind of melts. It's kind of like a Jabba the Hutt jaw. It's he's got that, and it melt. The neck beard went so deep it went into his shirt. I've never seen anything like this before. It was that pervasive of a neck beard, and I so wanted to see the best in this situation for her, where I was just this is a weird, how did that dick make that girl? What, this is a weird place for a girl to go with her, oh, that's not her dad, is it? And she's staring at me, because she's, I'm an actual, not ugly dude, and relatively in her age range, so she's, mortified that she has to, that I'm catching her in the act of either being a high-end prostitute or a sugar baby. And, I kind of see those as the same thing. And women get mad at me when I say that, but it's the same fucking thing. You're selling your body for money, whether or not that money is directly money or whether it's paid for in experiences. It's still the same fucking thing, right? You're a prostitute. You're selling your body. accept what you are, right? And she's looking at me, and she's like trying to make small talk with him, and I was just so like mortified because like, all right, you know, I mean, you know, when a situation's so gross where you're like, if at least if this was human trafficking, I could be like, well, she didn't decide to be in the situation. Where I'm like, no, she's willingly about to put that man's balls in her mouth. He's gonna pull up his stomach so she can fit her head down there, and then when it's down there, he's gonna let go, and it's gonna rest on her forehead, and she's gonna gargle those balls just to stay in a fucking nice hotel in Springfield, Massachusetts. Do you know how low a person's life has to be? Or how empty their desires have to be that they're willing to do that? So disgusting. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not just disgusted at her, I'm disgusted at him, too. But, like, with him, I get it. It's just like, yeah, no attractive woman his age or really any age younger is going to fuck him unless he pays for it, right? That's what he looks like. You know, that's the reason he made a lot of money. You know, like a reasonable person who has, like, a good life doesn't need to make that much money to impress people. You know? They're like, yeah, I make a decent salary, I live a comfortable life, I can afford a family, I'm good. You know? His wife's probably not good. She's like, we need an extension of this. But for him, in his mind, he's like, we're good. You know? And but if you're like, I need to spend this much money at a fucking casino and tote around a 21-year-old at best, she probably had a fake ID. That's what she looked like. It makes sense why he's in that situation. It's like, honey, you could get a guy who makes a decent amount of money your age. You know? You don't need to do this. And then, like, I walk around the table and she's shaking. Like, she's like literally, like, her like feet are chattering. Like, you know that when you're doing that thing where you're in a nervous situation where you're just like fucking legs are just shaking. So like, I literally walk in at the point where she realizes she's actually gonna have to fuck this guy tonight, and it was so depressing. I can't do casinos, man. I need like I went to, like I said, I went to Vegas a couple months ago. I was depressed for a month and a half coming back, and I had a good weekend, and it was just at being in Vegas. It was just like, is this all life is to you people? Is just making a lot of money so you can spend a lot of money and have a bunch of people validate things that have nothing to do with like your character or how you treat people? Is just I can't fucking do it, man. I don't know. That was really depressing. And yeah, so I just went back. After that, well, you know what I did do is, at casinos, right, if you're spending money, they give you free drinks, right? Well, what they also have, at least at this casino, is they had a Coke Freestyle fountain in the middle of the room. So, I'm not drinking, so I'm just walking around drinking free. I don't really drink soda, but, I was balling, I was staying in my free hotel room, and I wasn't spending, on gambling or drinking, so I was just like, all right, I guess I'm just going to drink a bunch of Pib Extra from this Coke Freestyle machine and be like, wow, can you believe, like, holy shit, can you believe they're just giving this shit out for free? That was my weekend. But, thanks again to John Tobin Presents. I did have, I had a fun time. I learned a lot, at least as a comic, just like, because I was doing like a lot of feature gigs last winter and spring and fall, like really like the whole fucking year before this summer. I was doing a lot of feature gigs out on the road in New England, and you're playing to mostly like middle-aged or older, more conservative audiences. So like I had a set built around that, and then I was mostly doing city spots all winter or all summer. Which was good, because, like, I really kind of fucking needed to, like, tighten down my set a lot and just, like, kind of figure out, okay, like, how am I going to do, like, a tight set? And, that's good, but, I kind of forgot how I was structuring sets, and I forgot a lot of the bits I was doing, as a feature that I haven't really been doing this summer because, like, they're old bits and they're, they're safer jokes. I know they work. I didn't have to fucking keep trying them all the time. But, like, I kind of need those bits to be fresh and ready all the time in case I run into an audience that really wants, something else. And, yeah, so that's where I was at, all fucking, weekend was just, like, realizing, like, all right, I got to get back into, like, having that muscle of, like, how do I talk to my parents and make them laugh, rather than, doing the type of, because it's just the type of shit that works in downtown Boston is different than works in Somerville or Cambridge / Alston, Brighton, which is different than what works in fucking Derry, New Hampshire, so like, it was just a good weekend of like, okay, I'm having mediocre sets, but like, it's just gonna make me better, because sometimes you just need a refresher of just like, yeah, this is why you used to do this all the fucking time. So I got something out of the weekend. Yeah, let's see. What else is going on right now? I don't know. I've been on the dating apps. Dude, I matched with this girl the other day, and you ever just like, I don't know. Here's a good thing we're 30 minutes into this, and I don't think anybody's listening, because this could just come off the complete fucking wrong way, and I've accepted that. Dude, I matched with this chick, and her, it was on Hinge, and it was like, her thing was just like, this year I really want to like disappear into the wilderness, and never return forever or something like that. And I was like, you're giving a psycho a potential alibi with this. Right? That's what I thought was funny, because, if a guy kills her, he can just be like, see, she said she was going to disappear in the wilderness. Right? I thought that was funny. What she responded, she's like, nah, I choose the bear. Which, if you don't know, right, there's this thing is like, do you choose, like, if you're alone in the woods, would you rather be with a bear or like a man? And women are saying the bear, and it's supposed to be a funny joke. I get what they're going for, right? Men are dangerous. I don't think I have to like mansplain how, just statistically, you're a lot safer alone with a bear than with a man than a bear. Like, I don't actually have to explain that, right? People know this. It's like, yes, men are a danger to women. Also, like, but men are a bigger danger to men. Why do we overlook this part? Because I looked it up. Because, okay, so I said that because this is what happened. She was like, I choose the bear, and I was like, I just explained my joke. I was like, no, I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was just like, no, you didn't get what I meant. It was like, somebody could dismember you and use this as an alibi. That was my joke. I was not trying to make this some treatise on feminism. Like, this was not. She just turned it into something. She was just looking for an excuse to start a fight with a man. Like, that's really what it was. But then she unmatched me, and I was like, all right, let me. So I looked up the statistics, right? Did you know that men commit 90% of murders? That adds up. Right? Completely adds up. Now, men murder, 80% of murders men commit are other men, and only 20% of them are women. So, while men may be the biggest threat to women, objectively, our treatment of women is so much better than we treat each other. Like, why are you not thanking us for how respectful to women men actually are? I mean, if you wanna, how come nobody cares about man-on-man crime? Huh? Why does nobody want to talk about the real issue here? I don't know where to go with that without making it incredibly racist, but that's very funny to me. It's just, yeah. Like, it's just, yeah, we're not specifically choosing you to mistreat, Don't get me wrong, plenty of us are, but, on the whole, we're protecting you. Actually, if you look up the statistics on mugging, actually, most muggers will mug another man before they mug a woman, because it's like outlaws have a code. Have you ever seen a Western, right? No women, no children. That's like why, like, when you talk about, like, fucking, like, sex ed in school, right? Like, I remember, like, I think we teach, like, young boys too much about consent. Now, hear me out, Jesus. No, because you hear, like men are creeps, they make women uncomfortable, like, consent is the most important thing, which obviously, yeah, of course it is, but, like, if you're not getting any at that age, and you just hear you're a creep, you don't know that you can approach women, like, consensually. You don't know the line. You just hear, I'm a creep, and you're like, well, I don't want to cross that line, so you never do that. Whereas, like, I think, like, women want them to be assertive, See, this is what happens when you let me rant for 40 minutes. I'm just going to talk shit about women the entire time. Nah, dude, like, I had a joke here. Oh, yeah, here's what it was. The real point is, like, any guy who you tell, right, you need to get, consent from a woman, right? Any guy who hears that and actually isn't a rapist is like, yeah, no fucking shit. If someone's a rapist, I don't think the word no is going to stop them. I think that's actually how rape works. I don't think. I think that's like literally the crime, I don't think. You're not going to be like, actually, no means no. And they're like, no fucking shit. Like, that's not. You mean that words mean exactly what they mean? It's like, no, I think a rapist is a rapist. I think they're a monster and a sex criminal. I don't think this lesson in sex ed at 16 years old is really what's gonna be the deciding line. I think this formed in their childhood, and we need early intervention programs to detect the potential psychopaths in our society. I think that's really what we need to fucking focus on, and not making all of the nice young 16-year-old boys afraid to make advances on women because they think they're creeps because. That's all they get told as a boy is just that you're a suspect once you hit 13 years old. I think that's, it's not healthy for boys to grow up like that, Welcome to my men's rights podcast. I don't know. I think the ladies know I love them. See, all my best friends are lesbians, so I think I can get away with saying most of this because they agree with me on most things. Dude, that's what's funny about having, like, gay men friends, is they are more misogynistic than actual straight men, I've found. Which is weird, because their best friends are women, but they are, dude, like, you talk to gay dudes about how women act dating, and they're like, preach, brother, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I thought you were gonna be, you're their best friend. They're like, yeah, no, I'm their best friend, but they're fucking dumb cunts. It's like, okay, Jesus, dude. I was just saying, she ghosted me, that sucks. You're like, hey, fucking kill, I don't know. Dude, so early. Let's get into sports. We got I'm at 30 minutes. This is good. This is going well. This is going great. Dude, I'm feeling good about bringing the pod back. I mean, we're at 32 and a half minutes. My target was 30 minutes. I still got a few subjects that I wanted to talk about. Hurricanes. Yeah, I mean, that's really sad. I don't really have a joke there. I don't know why I wrote that down. Did I have any other notes that come up in comics from the Springfield area? Sorry, I'm doing a show Thursday. The booker asked me to book a headliner, which I chose my boy Doug Key, who opens for Mark Normand. I open for him. I basically by virtue, I'm Mark Normand's grandson, and it was actually funny. I was invited out to go hang at Doug's festival, the Rogue Island Comedy Festival, last week. And Norman was headlining. I didn't realize it was going to be like a sponsored after party, so it was just going to be like a lot of like hanger-ons and like friends of friends and like audience members. So like I was just trying to like, hang out with like the comedians around, which was like Mark and his openers, and because it was like Mark did the first show, and then the second show was a bunch of Mark's openers from around the country, including Doug. And Mark closing it out. And I figured, just like hang out with them, like don't bother anybody. Just fucking be around, like there's going to be other comics I'm actually friends with there. So like, but you get to like rub shoulders with cool people, right? Just fucking, but treat them like people, don't fucking kiss their ass or whatever. So like, I said hello, but then I saw how much like people were fucking like doing the bother the famous person thing. I was just like, dude, I would rather fucking shoot myself than live this life. Like we have hung out before, like, in a very small group at a private, like, thing in a bar. So, like, we kind of knew each other, and, like, I could have initiated a real conversation, but I was like, dude, I'm not... This guy's life has to be fucking hell outside of the millions of dollars he's making and the thousands upon thousands of adoring fans. But besides that, it has to be fucking hell to just be recognized all the time, to be fucking, like, everybody wants a piece of you. Every conversation is like, what can I get out of you? Can I get opening role gigs? Can I fucking, do you want to meet my fucking family and kiss my baby? Like, dude, it's, I would never want to be that successful, please come to my shows, but like only enough of you come to my shows. I want followers, I want fans, but like I want like sell out a 500-person comedy club for 2 shows every 2 years in your city. Success, I want $120,000 a year success. I don't want millions. I don't need that, I want enough. I want to survive and like have fun. I don't want fucking whatever that is, because that was so fucking depressing to watch. Like, you could just see. I don't think I'm even supposed to talk about this, but nobody's listening. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, I could just see the dissatisfaction. And I was just like, man, this is fucking depressing. Speaking of depressing, the New England Patriots, everybody. Dude, I was telling everybody they shouldn't get, like, this is why they shouldn't have fucking got rid of Belichick. All right. All right. What you're looking at with the roster situation with the Patriots was essentially what you were looking at with the roster situation with the Patriots in 2009 or 2010, right? Where the Pats, after the, the almost fucking undefeated season, right? They got into a situation where they needed, all of their good core was old. They needed to replenish the core. They needed to get rid of all the old players, bring in a lot of new players. That takes years, right? So, like, they competed and almost won a Super Bowl on a year they weren't ready, where they had the worst defense yardage-wise in the NFL in 2011-2012. Made it to the Super Bowl because they had the greatest offense in NFL history at the time. Right, so between 08-09 and 2014-15, when they actually won, they had a team that was only even close to contention because they had the greatest quarterback of all time on the field. That's what the situation we're in right now, except we're in the opposite situation where, because we had Tom, we invested in our offensive line and our weapons, and we had an amazing offense, but we had no defense because we didn't have the salary cap, and we lost all of our aging players. Now we're in a situation where we have a great defense, but we have no offensive line, we have no weapons, right? So it's gonna take 5 or 6 years to get to where we want to be. Just going by that timeline, and that's a timeline where we barely won a fucking Super Bowl off a Malcolm Butler interception with the greatest quarterback of all time on the fucking field for us, right? And that took a performance where we came back down 10 points in the fucking fourth quarter, in the second half of the Super Bowl, on one of the greatest Super Bowl performances of all time by the greatest quarterback of all time. That's what it took for us to win our fucking 4th Super Bowl. So for the people to act like Bill Belichick's a fucking moron and doesn't have it anymore because a natural roster overturn happened because you don't have infinite fucking salary cap is mind-boggling to me. It's just, people are so fucking stupid that they don't realize that you can't just magically win because you have a quarterback. That's not how it works. You have to build an infrastructure and a team around that. And of course Drake May wasn't going to do well this fucking week. He doesn't have an offensive line, and he doesn't have really good receivers to throw to. We have a bad fucking football team, and we're going to have a bad fucking football team for another 2 or 3 years at best. So, like, it's just the people who don't understand the game of football. Like, hey, I went to college to coach football, and I almost got hired. Okay, so do I know anything, really? No, because I barely fucking watch the sport anymore compared to what I did when I was fucking 16. And even then, my 16-year-old knowledge was based on 18. My high school age knowledge was based on what I knew about high school football, and then I just read a lot of books by actual coaches because I was obsessed with it. But, yeah, it wasn't entirely based off of I was a fucking filmer. I would watch NFL. I subscribed to the Red Zone Network so I could watch the all-22 film footage of the Patriots games I was watching while I was in college, right? That's how much of a fucking psycho I was about it. But, I don't know, what was I saying? Yeah, no, just the people who just don't understand. Just like, well, just fuck it. It could be, why don't you put May out there? It has to be better than what we have right now. It's just like, yeah, but we're still not going to fucking compete. So why would you not just fucking tank the rest of the season and save his confidence? I mean, there's the problem. Is that if he knows he could be better than Jacoby, you're destroying his confidence by telling him he can't play. But then if you put him out and the team sucks, then you're destroying his confidence because he's trying to play on a bad team and he's going to play poorly because, it's a team sport, right? You can't just rely on one player and expect them to fucking magically turn your fucking franchise around. So yeah, I don't know. It's just getting frustrating. However, now what's not frustrating is the Boston Celtics. They look fucking good in the preseason, dude. They look really fucking good. Like, they barely have any of their fucking starters on the court, and they're beating teams by fucking 40 points just because they have just like, oh fuck yeah. All right, never mind. Sorry, I shouldn't be looking at my phone while I'm trying to fucking talk. Um, I think Billy and the Kids is reuniting with a really cool lineup. That's for me and not for you. Most of you don't even know who the fuck that is, and that's fine. Just know that I'm gonna fly to wherever I need to fucking fly to watch these concerts. What the fuck? Oh, the Celtics. Yeah, dude, the Celtics look fucking good. They look really fucking good. They're barely playing with any of their starters here in the preseason, and they're just fucking destroying teams by 50. And I know it's the fucking preseason, but it's just they have that like chemistry. Like this is a team that just like they understand each other, and now that they've gotten over the hump, they have like they're gonna have just a relaxation where they're just not trying too hard all the time. I mean, the Celtics were the best team in the NBA for the last 5 or 6 years, like talent-wise. They were the best team in the NBA for 5 or 6 years talent-wise, and they just needed to get over that hump mentally. That's all they needed to do. That didn't matter who was on that court. They just needed to get over the mental issue of like, can we actually fucking win a Super Bowl? But Super Bowl, NBA title. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, now that they've got that, I really don't see what could stop us. Like, I know, so we signed Lonnie Walker in the offseason, and it was like, this is just an embarrassment of riches situation. It looks like they might have to cut him just because we don't have the rotation space for all those guys. But also, like, at the beginning of the season, Porzingis isn't going to be playing. Al's not going to be playing. We could just go small and just have, like, another really good wing/guard guy. Or do you want to, go with Jaden Springer instead? Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting situation, but I really just like where we're going roster-wise. Oh, dude, I watched the end of the LSU game at the sports book at the casino, which is always sad, just watching fucking 70-year-old degenerates fall asleep while they're watching the midnight slate, the 10 o'clock slate of fucking NCAA football games on a Saturday at a casino by themselves. While they just sit there and think about all the women who left them for their degeneracy and go, why, am I going to die alone? Is this it? Who's going to pay for me in a nursing home? You know who's going to pay for me in a nursing home? This next bet. And that's why they do it. And, yeah, that was depressing. But god damn it, did my fucking LSU Tigers pull that out? I was following the game, the first half, on my phone during the show. And then I got out of the show, smoking another cigar out on the patio. And then I watched the end of the game. And just a fucking amazing finish to a football game. I mean, like, there was everything. There was, plays call, like, it was the craziest. I mean, the most reviews I've ever seen in a fucking football game. It was ridiculous. All the fake injuries from Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin can go fuck himself. I'm sure that's been talked about by people you're actually listening to for their sports opinions. But dude, like, fucking, it was crazy, man. Like, just watching. I love a good just walk off touchdown to win a game, and like, the way overtime played out with the penalties, and like, the game could have been decided in regulation if there weren't two reviews that completely drastically changed, the point differential. Like, if Ole Miss doesn't get that review that gets them into the red zone to kick that field goal to put them up 7, LSU could have just won the game, with that touchdown at the end of the game, but it just tied them back up. And LSU could have scored way earlier on that same drive if Mason Taylor wasn't, or is it Mason Taylor? Is that the same guy? Dude, I don't even fucking keep up with this shit anymore. I think it's Mason Taylor. Is it bad that the school I went to to coach football, I don't even know the fucking names of the players on the team. Whoever the fucking tight end is, got ruled down because of his elbow. But like previously on that play, it looked like he had like a 45-yard gain to get them in the red zone. But they would have scored with like 2.5 minutes left, as opposed to 25 seconds left. Yeah, so it was great to see us pull that out. Number 8 in the country. I don't know if I trust this team. I mean, like, Nussmeier won SEC Player of the Week, which is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen, because he was so mediocre. I mean, it's like I can't tell if we're playing this way because we're playing great teams, or if we are actually that mediocre. It's like, do we suck because we lost to USC? Because USC is actually a pretty good team. Or, was it just a bad first week of the season against a good team? Are we mediocre, or is just Ole Miss, was the number 6 team in the country before this game, so maybe we should give our team a little slack? That type of shit, is hard to fucking weigh, but I'm very glad that we're in the situation we are. If we can just pull out, if we can beat Bama, which is like we say it every year, if we can beat Bama, they're the only team that really scares me as we play out the rest of the season. If we can beat Bama, I think that puts us in the SEC title game. You can win or lose the SEC title game and still make the college football playoffs. So it's gonna be a big couple weeks. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by this team. This is the first time I really actually had a chance to really watch a game this season, just because besides the SC game, just because I'm busy every Saturday night. But yeah, that was good to see. Anything else while I wrap up this fucking podcast as we hit 46 minutes? Jesus Christ. Oh, that was... let me see. Dopey. If you're in Western Mass, I'm in Shelburne Falls with Doug Key this weekend, as I told you earlier. I thought I was at Democracy Brewing this weekend, but I wrote down the wrong day. I don't know how I did it. I'm supposed to be on Democracy the 9th of November and the 12th. It was the 12th of October, and I somehow wrote down the 19th and the 16th, which is just like a week off both times. Which I'm glad I caught that I'm glad I caught it at some point. Yeah, so I still got a weekend I need to fill up, so hopefully somebody throws me at least a guest spot. That would be very nice. And next week I'm doing Bellingham and Faneuil Hall Tuesday, Ruby Room in Manchester on Wednesday, Seahag and Cambridge on the 24th. And I got nothing next weekend either, so, we'll figure some shit out, but, it comes and goes in this comedy game. There's an ebb and a flow to it. Yeah, so, I don't know, is there anything else I want to mention? Is there anything I got for you? No, I think we're just gonna peter out, as all good things do, you wanna end on a bang, on a big laugh, but when you're doing comedy, you have bits you're working with, so it's a lot easier to do that. When you're doing a podcast, you're like, is this it? Is this good? Did you like that? I don't know where to go from here. Oh yeah, I have one more thing. I checked out the Basketball Hall of Fame while I was in Springfield. One very funny girl at the front desk asked if I wanted a student discount. I'm 26 years old. Of course I said yes. I saved $5. Second of all, so it was Hall of Fame weekend, so there's fucking Hall of Famers and their families walking around the Hall of Fame, which is fucking crazy. And the other thing is, so they added a Kobe exhibit. I know, fucking, bullshit. Yeah, it was all about the Denver case. It was just rape evidence on display. No, that was fucked. No, it was actually pretty cool, the Kobe thing. But then you walk through, and they have a new Celtics exhibit because it's in Springfield, Mass. So they were like, well, we're the winningest franchise ever, so we have to have an exhibit for them. And it's called the Vault, so it's like built like a bank vault type deal. And it's cool. It's got like all like the legends on the fucking wall and like a Red Auerbach quote, and you go in, and it was really fucking cool. Like, they have a shrine just for Paul Pierce. Like, Paul Pierce got a bigger shrine in the NBA Hall of Fame than Bill Russell or fucking Larry Bird, which was the funniest fucking thing on the planet to me. And, as a diehard Celtics fan who grew up on Paul Pierce, of course I think he deserves it. The only one who deserves it more is Marcus Smart. And it still kills me that we won a ring without him. But that's besides the point. Yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah, so that was really cool, and I got to, shoot hoops in the Hall of Fame because they got a court in the center. Like, the whole thing's built around a court in the center, so, all 3 floors circle this court, and it's cool because you can, shoot in, the basket, and, they have different rims for different eras of basketball. So, right, they have, a blacktop hoop with, a hard back, and then they have an NBA regulation hoop. I think they have 2 original, peach basket hoops the way like James Naismith designed the game with no backboard and anything like that. So that was pretty cool. And then they have like a full court where you, like with two other baskets. And then they have another one that you can dunk on. So I dunked on the 8-foot hoop, and because I couldn't get the 9, but yeah, that was really fun. There was other museums I should have checked out while I was there, because like I was literally just like, what the fuck am I gonna do in Springfield, Massachusetts? So I was just like, all right, I guess I'll go to museums. Because I'm not gonna walk around Springfield, Massachusetts, because I don't want to get mugged, even though it's not like I have money that you can steal. But yeah, dude, it was a good time. But all good times have to come to an end, including this podcast, because we're over fucking 50 minutes, and I'm not editing anything out. If anybody wants to see me tomorrow, I will be at the O'Teal and Friends show at the House of Blues. O'Teal Burbridge, the bassist of the Allman Brothers, Grateful Dead, or Dead and Company. That's going to be fun. It's going to be with Melvin Seals, Jerry's old keyboardist, Steve Kimmock, who was pretty much Jerry's hand-chosen replacement. Johnny Kimmock, Dwayne Betts, the son of Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers, Jason Crosby, Phil Lesh's keyboardist. Unfortunately, I don't think Phil Lesh is physically well enough to play anymore. And I went out in August to San Francisco / Marin County to see a show of his. He ended up getting COVID. He had a YouTube page he was uploading twice a week on before that, and he hasn't really uploaded since. So hoping the best for Phil. Hoping I didn't book a trip out for what wasn't supposed to be his last show, and then ends up being the first show he couldn't play. Because I almost went out in July for the previous one, and now I'm like, I wish I went to the July show, because that might be Phil's last show ever. That's a real bummer. I'm hoping to go see Bobby for New Year's, or whatever Bill Kreutzmann, the drummer, and is about to announce, because he's been teasing it all day with a bunch of different musicians. And that seems really exciting. It doesn't look like exactly like the normal Billy and the Kids lineup, but if he announces a New Year's thing, I'm going to have to talk to the girl I've been seeing, because she has a debutante party in San Antonio that for New Year's, and I don't want to be like, hey, no offense, but you're not going to die soon, but these guys are, and I need to see either Weir or Kreutzmann instead of, this important moment in your life. I don't really know how I can have that conversation, so that's going to be a difficult one. But I haven't, she's asked me 3 times for my email for the RSVP list. I keep giving it to her, and she still hasn't given me the fucking thing. I don't think she's going to be happy if I talk about this in the podcast. Either fucking way. Nobody's listening to 53 fucking minutes into this podcast, so I think the stakes are pretty goddamn low. Yeah, this has been the podcast for the week. Thank you guys for listening. If you have listened this far, if you haven't listened this far, go fuck yourself, because you're not going to hear me say this, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, everybody, I don't know. When I end up a comedy show, I say tip your waitstaff and get home safe. And I think that advice works, even though, you're probably not driving listening to this. You're probably listening to it at work. If you are driving, get home safe. Unless I just don't like you as a person, and then I hope you, crash. Not like a serious crash, just like enough to inconvenience you financially. But I would never wish physical harm upon somebody. Thank you guys. And gals. Or gal. I don't fucking know. I don't know who listens to this. I forget. It's been 3 years. I'm just impressed with myself that I was able to talk for 50 minutes and not lose my goddamn mind. Alright. I'm going to be doing this every week. So check back next week and have a good one. Thanks.